Following Remy Ma's altercation with his new girlfriend, Papoose went viral with content. The camera suddenly came to life, capturing a moment that would soon become one of the most talked about viral incidents of the year. The atmosphere was thick with suspense as the camera flickered to life. This was not the way that it was planned to take place. Papoose and Remy Ma had long been seen by the general public as a power couple, having an unwavering commitment to their love and loyalty. In the world of hip-hop, they were the very definition of royalty. They were a duo that exuded strength and resiliency. But suddenly, it appeared as though all of that was falling apart in front of the eyes of millions of people, and it was all because of a struggle that nobody saw coming. It all began in a manner that was completely unassuming, with Papoose having a low-key event at his flat in Brooklyn. Recently, he had begun a romantic relationship with a new lady, a woman who had captivated his attention in a manner that Remy Ma no longer appeared to be able to. When she entered his life, she was younger, more vibrant, and brought an entirely different kind of energy. Jasmine was her name, and she possessed a beauty that was at least as evident as her audacity for taking risks. In spite of the fact that she had always been quite protective of her family, Remy Ma had already picked up on the fact that her spouse was undergoing substantial changes. Although they had not been living apart, the fissures in their marriage had become more obvious over the course of their relationship. In their relationship, Remy Ma, who had a stern demeanor and a sharp wit, had always been the one to make decisions themselves. Nevertheless, Papoose, the spouse who had been faithful in the past, had begun to find comfort in the embraces of a new partner. Papoose's feelings for Jasmine were not merely superficial, rather, she was someone he sincerely cared about. In the tumultuous world of celebrity and public scrutiny, it wasn't long before their story gained the attention of the tabloids and the gossip blogs. The evening of the gathering, on the other hand, would be a night that could not be forgotten by anyone. The event that completely confronted the world. Papoose had called a small group of friends and business insiders to his flat, expecting to celebrate the success of his current album. Initially, everything appeared to be in order. The atmosphere was filled with the sounds of cheerful music, and the laughter of close friends echoed off the walls of the premises. On the other hand, tensions were building up beneath the surface. Since Remy Ma had heard reports about the party and her husband's new girlfriend, she had come at the party without any prior notice. She entered the room with the same fervor that had made her a legend in the rap game, and her eyes scanned the throng as she brought her presence into the room. The expression on her face remained frozen for a little period as she saw Jasmine sitting on the couch. One could not fail to notice the frigid tension that existed between the two women. As if everyone in the room could tell that a confrontation was about to take place, the atmosphere in the room seemed to suddenly change. Despite the fact that Jasmine, who had been conversing with a companion, stood up to smile and meet Remy Ma, it was obvious that the situation was becoming increasingly unpleasant. Remy didn't reciprocate the gesture. Instead of doing so, she proceeded to walk directly toward Papoose, who was in the kitchen attempting to act as a peacekeeper. It was, however, too late. Already, the storm had started to gather its strength. Remy Ma spoke in a low voice, Papoose, as her eyes locked into him with a stare that had the potential to melt steel. "We need to have a conversation." Immediately prior to Papoose even having the opportunity to answer, Jasmine stood up and moved forward. Her tone was low and soothing, but it had a piercing quality to it. Her words were emphasized as she stated, "There is no need to talk, Remy," and she made sure to emphasize them. "We are doing well." It was then that the room fell silent, and the energy went from being playful to being palpable. Papoose, who had been caught in the thick of this battle of wills, looked about and eventually came to the conclusion that the celebration had come to an end. The events that took place after that were completely hazy, but the video would remain ingrained in the memories of everyone who witnessed it. The battle and the footage that went viral. One push was all that was needed to get everything started. It was possible that Jasmine was being too bold for her own good when she made a comment about Remy Ma's previous struggles, specifically referring to the time that she had spent in prison. A low blow, but one that struck a nerve, was delivered. In an instant, Remy Ma's patience was completely exhausted. Remy Ma growled at Jasmine as she approached as she took a step toward her. "Don't think you can come in here and disrespect me, little girl," Remy Ma said. "Absolutely nothing about me is known to you," she said. There was no flinching on Jasmine's part. "I know enough," she retorted, her voice oozing with the poisonous substance of malice. Instantaneously, it took place. Jasmine was pushed forward with force by Remy Ma, who sprang forward. The power of the push sent Jasmine falling back into the table, knocking over a glass. Although Papoose made a hasty entrance between the two women in an attempt to separate them, it was already too late. Suddenly, a fight broke out. The atmosphere in the room descended into chaos as people pulled each other's hair and exchanged words. During the course of the altercation, a member of the crowd swiftly retrieved their mobile device, meticulously recording each and every moment of the conflict. According to the video, Remy and Jasmine were seen wrestling with one another, while both of them were yelling insults at one another. It appeared as though Papoose was attempting to separate them, but his attempts were ultimately unsuccessful. The camera zoomed in on his face, showing his exasperation, his anger, and his powerlessness. "Get off her!" Papoose shouted as he tried to pull Remy away from Jasmine. But it was evident that the war was far from done. It only took a few minutes for the video to go viral on social media, which resulted in an overwhelming number of responses. A number of individuals, including supporters of both men and women, voiced their opinions over the fight. Some people took Remy's side and praised her for not giving in to pressure or compromise. Other people came together in support of Jasmine and referred to her as the new queen in Papoose's life. However, the fight was not the only thing that caused the drama. It was the aftermath, the public backlash from the video that would follow. The consequences and effects of the public. In the days following the incident, social media was flooded with memes, reaction videos, and hot takes. The #Papoose fight trended worldwide as everyone weighed in on the chaos that had unfolded behind closed doors. Several fans expressed their disbelief, unable to comprehend the fact that the couple they had cherished for a considerable amount of time was now at the center of such a drama. Others took a more cynical approach, claiming that it was all a publicity stunt designed to boost album sales and generate media attention. But it wasn't just the fans who had opinions. Industry insiders, bloggers, and even celebrities began to comment on the situation. Cardi B, a longtime friend of Remy, took to Instagram to voice her support for her. Adding fuel to the fire, Cardi B posted, "Remy don't take no disrespect from nobody, period," which further fueled the controversy. Because she has been through so much, it would be irresponsible to allow a young girl to come in here and act as if she is the queen. On the other hand, Jasmine's supporters came together in support of her and praised her for the courage she had in confronting Remy. "Jasmine is a queen, and she's not about to let anyone walk over her," one fan said. Papoose made the right choice. Remy was holding him back. As the weeks went by, it became clear that Papoose's marriage to Remy was on the rocks. The couple made no official statement about the altercation, but it was obvious that their relationship had become strained. Papoose, who had always been the quiet, supportive partner, was now caught in the middle of a media firestorm. His relationship with Jasmine only seemed to make things worse, with many accusing him of dumping Remy for someone younger and more naive. But behind the scenes, Papoose was battling with the emotional toll of everything that had happened. The cracks in their marriage had grown to the point where they could no longer be ignored, despite the fact that he had always been fiercely loyal to Remy. The way Jasmine was unique. She brought back a sense of vitality in him, something that he hadn't experienced in many years. Nevertheless, he was unable to escape the burden of his history with Remy, the woman who had been there for him through tough times and difficult times alike. The video that went viral quickly captured the attention of major media outlets, and news networks began running stories about the growing tension between the former couple. This occurred not long after the video went viral. Papoose and Remy were no longer the golden couple that everyone had admired so much previously. They were now embroiled in a very public battle for control of their own narrative. The final reckoning. In the end, the viral footage had done its job. It had captivated the attention of the world, and it had ripped down the image of the pair that many had revered. It made no difference whether the fight had been staged or whether the drama had been blown out of proportion for the purpose of having a greater impact. All that was left was a shattered relationship, the view of the general public, and a multitude of questions that went unaddressed. The battle was ended, but the aftermath had only started to take place.